what are the different plan operators we saw. Okay, we'll move further and we'll address few more other important aspects of it. Yeah, so we talked about this. So let us see. These are different other scans that possibly may are available. Like say for example, if you use the generate series function. Okay, so let me show you how it works. So /df generate series. So this is the function that is possibly can be used and like to generate a series. Fine. So it takes like it will let you know what are the different operands that can be used. So if you maximize this, there are three kind of operands. So say for example, if I write select star from generate, no, not star from select. Let us see like if we can write. One comma thousand. So you will see that it generates different numbers for you, a series, okay, in a sequential order. Correct. So if you write, say this to 10, you can control that by like 19 to 30. Okay, that anything can be seen. Like if I write now, explain here. So this is a function scan. Okay, so whenever you are using a function in such case, like it will show you function scan. So suppose we use select age. Suppose 21/2021 and 01/08/1980. Say, so it will show you say age. Now similarly, if I write here explain. Now you will see like here I use select star from generate series, and here I am writing select function. Correct this. So this would be a computation done, and this would be something more than what was supposed to be. So this will always result to a single value. So whenever you are getting set of values, like if you see the way that I saw this slide df, you must have seen there is a result data type given as set of. That means what? Like for example, if you try to write say Fibonacci series function, okay, in C. So what you generally do is you do print it one by one, the Fibonacci series element, correct? What if we keep adding that into an array, like every element that is computed would be printed in array, and then you are printing that array. So that kind of data type can be is available with this Postgres, okay, called as setup. We definitely would be using in month of Jan. So while discussing about different functions that can be used using PLPG SQL. Okay, so if I write same thing for age, you will see that there is nothing called set of. It would be integer or interval. So when we saw this is the interval. Sorry, this is the interval given. Okay, between two dates. So it can be used with an integer two. An integer two, depending upon like how exactly you are using that particular function. Correct? Yeah. So like explain select star from generate series. So you get function scan, and it is like a result. If you write select 1 plus 2, it will show you result only. Like for example, similarly, if I write select 1 plus 2, it will show you this. And if I write here explain, it will show you result. Same thing which was shown with that age function. Correct. So this is also a result which is computed. Fine. So this is the result. This is the difference between result and the function scan. Function scan is whenever you are using some result data type of function. So suppose let us see the standard function standard table PG Pro. So this is a PG Pro table. Okay, so let us see whether if we can get yeah, so there is return type. Correct. So if I write select read type from PG underscore proc. Sorry, it is PG pro rate type. Sorry, pro rate type, comma pro name. So this is a number. So if I really see where typ name, where OID, sorry, where pro rate type in select or instead of this we can write PG type where pro rate type equal to OIDs. Let us try this. Okay, so select OID comma typ name from PG underscore type. Yeah, so I should have written here PG underscore type dot OID. Yeah. So you can see this is the procedure name that you may have. Okay, this is procedure return type. This is the return type name that can be seen. So if you see, let us go and let us see if somewhere we see. Okay, let us use set order by typ name. So yeah, so you can see there is a type called any array. Okay, so we'll talk about that too. So even any element, any numerator, where you don't know what exactly the thing is, it can return any range too. Okay. So let us go below. Let us see if we can get. Okay, money, name, numeric. So if you see here, it is not showing you something called a set of, correct? That set of itself is one keyword whenever you are talking about returning a set of these types. Okay, so most of these types except that any kind of stuff. So maybe probably integer, character, and so on. So it could return whenever you want to return a set. So that time you are going to make use of that set of. Okay, so we'll be using definitely it into like while writing function definition in Postgres later. Fine. Okay, is that clear now? What is function can and what is result? If you have any question, you can ask me. Yes, please. Any question? Query? No? Okay. So there is another plan called values. So if you write something like this, so select values 1, A, 2, 3. Okay. Now if I remove these brackets, select values. So how exactly we are going to separate them? So we definitely require these values to be used. So if you see in both the cases, whenever I am using them with brackets or without brackets and even using comma and so on. So how to use this? So that usage would be dependent on like explain values. So let us write it. If we can explain values. Okay, now here if I write 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now I am writing values. So instead of it, let me write value. Okay, so function value. Now if you see here what it is saying, because I am writing it with select, that's why, correct. So if you see select values, so if I write only one, okay, it is giving me an error. So then if I remove this and then write value, so it says no function matches with given name. So how exactly this value scan would be? So if you see, we are writing directly this explain without select. Okay, so if I write, sometimes you may not use at all this. So if I write value, okay, so what it is saying, I am not able to see, or I am not able to rather configure what it is. But when I write values 1, then it displays this. So if I write values 134, it will only display something. Now you may definitely will have a question in mind, why exactly these values might be supported. Okay, now this would be useful whenever you are talking about something related to say post GIS. So you can read, find out what is post GIS. So have you heard about GIS? Have you heard about GIS, Geographic Information System? Yes.
No, sir.
Okay. I hope you must be using maps. How the
Yes.
location is identified in maps?
Coordinates.
Coordinates, correct. So like there is a, like whenever you are talking about storing that kind of data in terms of map. So there is a support provided by Postgres with respect to GIS operation called PostGIS. Okay. So like if you really wish to see that, like provided if you are working into something related to maps and you are supposed to be using a database, so this could be one option. So most of the database do support this because see, you are storing coordinates and then ultimately like the mechanism of writing that coordinates is based on like whether what is like latitude, longitude, and so on. Correct. So there could be other parameters too. So in such cases, this values is used. Okay. So now if I sorry. So if I write here values, if I write explain. Now if you see, it is showing us this values like result scan. Now this was changed in a new Postgres version whenever you are writing this. Earlier there used to be a value scan. Okay, with Postgres 11 onward, I think 11 or 12 onward, this value scan was deleted and it is showing you something called as result. Correct? Because this result, this value scan, what are the value scan that I'm talking about in this case? Okay. When we write this, so if you see because I use this 134, let me type say 46. Now when you are using this as a one, so earlier like with before Postgres 11, so it used to show you always the value scan, then they changed because this may be kind of an operation that you may want to display. That's why it is going to only result to one value, correct, a single value. So that's why whenever a single value is returned, that's what we saw. It will be always showing you a result scan. Correct. This value scan would be there whenever you are returning a set. So if I remove this, say explain from here, you can see that both the values are returned. So it is returning you as a set. Correct. And this would be useful with most of the GIS operations defined. So rather I used to work with it, but since 5, 6 years I'm not having any update with respect to that jazz because now that time I was working with a project. That's why I could use it, or I rather how exactly it is to be used. but later like there were multiple changes happened in the databases as well, like what are the versions they came into picture, starting from Postgres 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and even now we are working with Postgres 14. Correct. So okay. So okay. So if you see, this is your Postgres version that I'm using. Okay, 14.1.2 in on my machine with PSQL client to be of 14.1. Correct. Now, ultimately, as the changes happened with respect to this value scan, so you may really think about like when I displayed these three plans together ultimately on one single slide. Now you will realize that whenever you are returning a set, okay, through a function, then that would be a function scan. Whenever you are returning set of values without a function, then you would be saying value scan. But then in that case, you have to make use of these values. Correct. So generally, as an users who are working with say web-based or some desktop and applications, we generally don't use this explain. Okay, most of the time, it would be some specific kind of operations. Yes, operation I mean to say area. Probably it could be, as I said, geography or some scientific data to be collected at that time. It may be useful. And okay, then there is another okay, let me go with this. Yeah. So one thing we saw was this nested loop. But like if you see when it is described here, it might be always talking about a joint perspective. But we saw this nested loop can be used here, like whenever you write select star from customer comma order info. Correct. Now if I write here explain, then you can see that this nested loop is there. Correct. But like similar some kind of structure is added. Now whenever you're generally like these would be useful whenever you are using all different kinds of joins. Now when I say joins, I'm talking about inner join, outer join, left outer join, full outer join, right outer join. Have you used them? Left outer join, right outer join. In SQL, generally it is taught like how exact whenever you are talking about inner joins, equi-joins, or different kinds of join, there are two important aspects shown taught generally: inner join and outer join. So left outer join, right outer join, and full outer join. So these are the three versions of that outer join. So you can think of rather working with some try to understand that from any DBMS book. Okay. Uh, gather information about it and try to make use of them in the assignment that I already was talking about earlier. Correct. Where what are the tables that were available in p.sql file which was given to you and as also was made available on say our Moodle site. You have to make use of those table definitions and come up with what we call it as like this kind of plans. Similarly, you have to get the graphical representation of that plan and combine both of them. Like you have to copy, say for example, you will copy this. Okay, take this, copy this, add it into the editor. Along with it, you have to add the GUI representation for this plan. So you have to do that. So, so the nested loop, it is said to be one of the slowest form. But if you really see like why then when we say why it is then showing us this plan when we had other options too. So if I even go with this by enabling set enable nested loop to off, and if I fire this, correct, now you will see that there can be only one option available for such kind of. So you will always see that the cost is something shown in something different way. Correct. Now if you may see here, like what are the our number was 2660.88. It was kept as it is. Only thing that this is added there. Right? This is added there. And to make this those many digits, there are zeros are added with this one. Okay, with one to show you this. So ultimately, whenever you are writing such kind of stuff, like whenever you are writing such kind of query, correct? It is already optimized. It is already optimized. So you have not too much worry about, because like until and unless your data is organized in a specific form. But then when I say in should be ordered in a specific form, what exactly it mean by then? So when I say specific form, generally we work with an insertion order. Correct? The data is inserted in the insertion order. If you make updates, if your updates are frequently happening on the database, okay, there are CRUD operations happening 24/7. Then in that situation, so performance issue definitely needs to be addressed at every point of time. Now, whenever we are talking about this performance issue, then how exactly we are going to verify whether what are the query that has been written by us is optimized or not. Right, so it would be very difficult for an individual to really verify whether my query is optimized or not. Because like if you see, let me show you this particular aspect. So for a while, let me write here analyze. So you would be seeing this execution time here. Correct? Okay, so let me first switch on that so that we will get proper plan. Yeah. So 0.167 millisecond. Correct. And if I write this even. Sorry. Slash timing. If I write simply this query without using this. Okay. So what I did here, I wrote explain analyze. I added analyze only. So I can see that planning time and execution time is shown. And when I write this slash timing, and if I fire this query towards end, okay, when I quit from it, it shows me the time taken. Now, if you see, it is much higher than what I see here for the execution. But now when we executed this, it was loaded in buffer and query was removed from memory even. But in this case, query remains in memory. It is same thing like working with Postgres. So your code, while you write ps-ejh, okay, let me show you that part as well. So when you write ps-ejh and pipe less. Now you know that this ps command is running in memory. So if I go to other terminal, and if I write ps-a, so you will see this less and this ps is running somewhere. There's a less operation also running. So we haven't applied here less, correct, on this terminal. So this less belongs to PTS1. So if I see this PTS1, this is terminal 1, graphical terminal 1. So this is bash. So we should see PS as well, correct, on PTS1. So let me write here PS-A grace. Now see here. What are the query that I fired here? PS. That query got executed on this terminal, the original terminal. Now that data is loaded in memory and that data is shown. This PS was removed ultimately from memory and that data was given to less and that less is displaying that data. Now if I grep for PS, I will see only one option, one service running. But ultimately you will see that one PS is running here, which is process snapshot, and one PS I fired from here. But what happened was this output was generated, output was given to less, and this PS program was removed from memory. because its execution is done. Correct? So then why it is not shown here when I write this PS dash A? At that time it shows me this PS2. Correct? And if I write here less, for example, now for towards end I do see this because I am talking about here the output of this A. Now this all and this EJH is giving me different outputs. You can see that, like see here, it is showing me a tree kind of structure. So if I go below, you will see here, it is showing me a tree kind of structure. So there is some organization, zigzag kind of organization done. So they are like this is a subtree. Okay, this subtree had one tree, one subtree again, one child. This child had one child. This child had two children. Again, this child had one more children. In this case, this is another subtree available, which has when I say subtree, I mean to say process tree. Okay, so this is another one that these are all children of that process. Now you may say why I'm telling you this. The reason behind it is, so when I wrote this PSQL, correct, and when I fired this query, correct, at that time, what are the data that was taken in the memory, like this timing would be switched off whenever you fire, when you quit from it, correct. So you can see that if I write it is on and off, correct. So when it is off, so if I fire my query, nothing would be shown. Now you might see like it is waiting for my key to be pressed because it is showing me this. It is same thing when I write less. So actually this data was loaded from these tables. Data was captured. Data was loaded in memory in buffer. It was organized in a proper fashion, and that's what is shown to me like this in an organized manner. So it is taking this much amount of space for customer ID, this much amount of space for my title, then F name, and so on. Correct. So this organization, like kind of, this is kind of printf function which is adding that formatting operation, or which is completing that formatting operation. Now that formatting operation is done. That's why the tables which were there are removed actually. Okay, the tables were which one? So tables were like in this case customer and order info. So both the tables which were in memory, they were removed, but the data extracted from those tables is kept in memory. Correct. So that's why you will see that the data, that the timing definitely changes with respect to this. So let me switch on this. Okay, let me write explain analyze. So you will see some time shown there, correct? 1.790. And if I remove this, you will see this time. Now if I fire this command again, can you see some drop in the time taken? If I go on executing this, can you see that time is changing? Why this is so? Can somebody tell me? At least try to compare these values and this one. So it is suddenly getting down or increasing, and then it nearly below half, below like 50% of what earlier was taken. If I fire it again, now see suddenly it increased. So it totally depends on what operations are running on your system. So right now I'm not able to show you right because I don't have an extra camera here, but I definitely can show you that. Okay, let me add probably a video on WhatsApp to show you that there is a processing happening on my laptop in the background. So you may see this like when I'm firing. So I'm firing the data. Okay, then something is happening. So if you see the video that I posted now, on WhatsApp group. Check that video. So the video the processing on my disk is currently going on. Correct? It is currently going on. That's why the time taken is varying from here to there. I assume that video is uploaded now on WhatsApp. Check that video. So you would be able to see like what are the time taken by the other services. So this time definitely varies across. Okay, depending upon what is there on the system. Then definitely question comes into mind. How exactly we should finalize whether my query is optimized or not. Correct, because you don't have any control on the system. Now, why I'm saying so, any control on the system, because generally your applications are having a database and there are multiple programs which are trying to access that database. Now, when it happens, you don't know even on the server, database server, what other things are going on. So maybe it may happen that your database backup is going on currently. That's why you are not going to get the kind of support that a system should have provided to you. Then in such cases, how exactly this is managed? Okay, so like if you recall, when I showed you this PS output. Okay, let me show you one more time. Great, pause this. You will see that there are multiple services running. So now, even if you see, these are the ones which are running with the server. This is extra one because you are running PSQL here on the other window or other tab. So this 14311 is running for this whatever explain that we are writing. Correct? The server copy is running there. Now other server copies, one of the copy would be taking care of this execution pattern. Okay, one of the queries definitely talking about or taking care of the transactions that are happening at that side. So each copy of this Postgres process is taking care of some operation, which is really important to be handled by the system, depending upon what the different things are. So one of them would be handling transactions. Okay, let us go here. Okay, let me move to then next join. So this merge join generally useful whenever you are having sorted data. Like this would be mostly used with equality join conditions and only for ordered data types. Now, which are the ordered data types? Can somebody tell me? Can somebody tell me? Suppose I write this, correct? Now, if I write here, explain. So it is showing me sort. It is showing me sort. Now, what would be the best possible thing to get the merge join? Okay, so let me quit from here and let me join again. Okay, so it is showing me sort. So if I say set enable sort to off, it is going with index scan because I am working with customer ID. Now you can see the time taken. Correct. Now let me disable this as well. Set enable index scan to off. Now if I fire this again, these are the only two options in front of me. It is because like I'm working with only single table. Okay, so what happens if I write this kind of query? Select star from customer comma order info where customer ID equal to order info dot customer ID. Correct. So let me now write explain here. So I'm getting hash. Correct. Now if I disable, then only I would be getting merge join. Now merge join most of the times takes huge amount of time because sort is involved in both the cases. Like what are the tables that you have? They needs to be sorted on a particular key, and that key is picked from this because it is to be verifying. It is supposed to verify customer ID from this table and that table too. So it is better if I have sorted items together so that I can match one by one. And that is the reason why this merge join takes huge amount of time. But like considering the period that I worked since with Postgres since 2005, I hardly one or two times only got merge join to be only join option as an optimized option at the first point. Like here, if I could not have disabled this, I never could get this merge join. So this was really a puzzle. Rather you can work with. How can I get always a merge join to be the first option for me? Hashing definitely takes place or requires a hash function running in the background, and it would be taking some amount of time rather to organize the data. But sorting definitely takes more than what hash function is going to do or going to take the time. So it is better rather the hashing. You can see here customer table was picked, hashing is done. Okay, so let me set it to on. You can see like hash was done on this customer when it is sequential scan was taken for this. The hash earlier and order info is taken together by considering this hash condition. And if you recall how the order was written by me, customer ID equal to order info dot customer ID. Now which one would be better for me? Like customer, there are 15 customers. But in order info, I have only 4 orders. So I have a limited set of customers. So sorting would be this. This is how my hash condition would be effective if I rewrite that like this. The condition. If I rewrite that condition like this, correct. Now same case if I really wish to see with respect to say merge join, see the join condition. You will see that join condition is what? So it matches with customer ID. That customer ID was belonging to customer, and that is the reason why it is taking huge amount of time. What now you may say 132 milliseconds is not huge amount of time, correct? But yes, rather from output perspective, performance perspective, it is more time than what was supposed to be there. Is that fine? So what happens if I write select star from customer A, comma customer B, where A dot customer ID equal to B dot customer ID. Correct. So let me quit. Let me write. Let me do this. Now let me write explain. Now still it is taking hash join. Though now I am using same table where it is very easy for me to rather match the data. So what happens then? Like if I disable this hash join. Now see 36.84, correct? And if I set it to on 25.28. And even the amount of operations you require only to like one hash here, other hash is with combined one. Here you have sort for this, sort for other, okay, and then ultimately you are going to get that merge the condition. Now you can see like A dot customer ID, B dot customer ID. So if I switch it to on, in both the cases condition is same, right? Earlier also it was A dot customer ID equal to B dot customer ID, because luckily we had both the data elements having, because we have taken same relation there. It is self join, correct? Self join. Now while the self join was taken, condition was remained to be same in both the kinds of join, merge join as well as hash join. but because of sorting, though it is sorted, but how it knows that whether it is sorted or not. So if I change my data from f name equal to v dot f name. Okay, so let us see then what it shows. So there would be always an option for it like merge join. Next option would be definitely merge join whenever you are talking about equality. And merge join only come whenever you are talking about equality. Equality in the sense of the values. So if I write, say for example, where a dot customer ID equal to 10. Now in this case, it is not going to give you, though it is an equality, but that equality doesn't mean you are talking about values available there. Okay, or v dot customer ID equal to. Now see, even like planning is changed. So let us quit and try executing both the queries again. PSQL nested loop. First option is nested loop because you are talking about this would be what a condition. This is a filter. It is called as filter. You are filtering the data. So either you are talking about customer ID equal to 10 from a table A, or you are talking about customer ID equal to 11 from customer B. So what is the data that is shown here? So let us see if I remove this explain. It is showing me all records, this or that, where, but what about that condition? What about my condition? You can see this 11 is there. Customer ID 11 is repeated. Can you see that? So this 11 came into picture and then it talks about 10. Correct? In the first row. So while the join was taken, first table A was common. Now table B, it is picking only one customer ID, which was 11 earlier. And latter case, it picks 10 from A table and shows all values from B table. So ultimately, if I see the number of records available there, they would be 30. Why it is showing 29 instead of 30? Can somebody tell me? Okay, so let us simplify this. So are Dave and Mike coming together? Mike is shown together, correct? Now see how they are organized. Dave is added once. Now total there are 15 records. So totally in one table there are 15 records. When I combine them and I'm using OR in the condition. So why it is not showing me 30? Instead it is showing me 10. Okay, let us do it for one more time. So now here I'm talking about a dot customer ID. This 10 is repeated. And then this 10 is repeated for how many number of times? Let us count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This 15. Now if you see how many times that Dave is shown. Okay, so let us count that too. So this is 15. So that for a this it is shown 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this 5. This Dave is added here. So that's why we cannot take that 6 because we already counted it. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Because Dave was added there once. That's why it hasn't picked it. Then you may say 10 and Dev was taken together here at one point of time. Okay, here. So it is counted, both of them are counted together here. And that's why instead of 30, it is showing us 29 records. Now users may write any queries. Like see, it is what database system is supposed to return me the result. I may write any kind of query. It should only display me whether my output, like what if my query is correct, the output should be shown. But then think of this, how much arrangements are to be made by your database system rather towards this part. Okay, to organize the data, and that mostly the thing depends here on this your planner. Okay, one another thing. Have you heard about OLTP? Have you heard about OLTP? It is online transaction processing. Now, whenever there are hundreds or thousands of transactions that are happening, hundreds of, when I say 100, I might be talking about hundred thousands or maybe trillion, billion, trillion records happening or transactions happening at one point of time. When those many transactions are done, at that time, this merge join is not to be used. That's why, like, first choice always is hash join. Most of the times you would be saying hash join. That's what I said. Once or twice only I got merge join, and it was even like it was kind of eureka situation for me that, oh, eureka, I got it. I never got it. So if at all I have to show you merge join at the initial stage, I have to switch off hash join. Then and then only I can show you. Yeah, it is how it is the way that merge join happens. So like third time I was taking DBMS course in my life here in department, and while before going for the lecture, I saw, okay, let me try this. What the plan it shows. So I got merge join, and when I entered into class and showed the same query, suddenly it showed me hash join. I never came across merge join consistently for 7 classes. I always used to go in the class and, okay, let me see if I can show you merge join. I could never used to show. I could never was able to show the students that merge join part. But then, okay, this was only option for in front of me rather to disable and then show the students how the merge join looks or the plan with merge join looks. Okay, so hash join we already addressed about, and it is generally used mostly with the small tables. And if you see what are the tables that we have used, they are having smaller data. So if you have bigger data sets, like you can take dump from online sites, take the data dump and try the queries. So if you have bigger data sets, then you definitely can get your first choice to be merge join, okay, and not hash. So when you are having small data sets, because hashing is very good when you have small set of things, like when you are talking about symbol table design in translators like compilers or assemblers and so on. Every time the best table like your symbol table design is hash based. It is really useful one in any course of time. Fine. Okay. So even we talked about this sort. So like suppose if I write select app name from customer order by app name. Correct. Now if I write say explain here. Now you will see that we have added this, we got this sequential scan, okay, with a sort, because sorting is applied on sequential scan. Then ultimately query would be in front of us, what exactly it used to sort. So I am adding explain verbose. Now it tells me what was the sort key and what is the output. Okay, generally you write query the sequential scan, you see this way. internally this customer is identified with its identifier called public because it belongs to public schema. That's why this is add. Hello, hello. Somebody unmuted. Is there any issue? Okay. Yeah. So like even if you write this select star from X, it is not always taken as select star from X. It is written as select star from public.x or schema name.x. This is always added. So even whenever you are writing this, say like for example, I wrote simple thing, na select app name from customer with order by app name. This query is rewritten because this app name may occur at multiple relations. How exactly we qualify that? So we add select customer dot app name from customer order by customer dot app name. This is how your query is written, and that's what is shown here. You can see here customer dot app name, public dot customer, and so on. So like sorry, I missed that. Select customer dot app name from public dot customer order by customer dot app name. This is how your query is rewritten internally. So if I add some more things like here. Okay, I should have written this only. Okay, it tells me which sort method is used and how much amount of memory was taken rather to show you this result by sorting it. Correct? Are you with me? So for additional information, you definitely can read any database book. When I said any, I mean by standard database book like Raghuram Krishnan or Henry Korth, and there's a chapter for query planner. You can get more details about it from there. Okay. So it is not only for order by, but whenever you're using distinct, group by, union, merge join, mostly merge join also adds that sort. But as we said, whenever you're having huge data set, definitely like there would be a problem, and that's why optimization it would be useful whenever you are having bigger data sets. For small data sets like having 10, 20,000 records, you may not be able to get the kind of performance that you want. Correct? Now your data, like if you see, say for example, in data centers, there are different number of storages added there. How now data fetching would be done? So their structure for retrieving data from data center, you're not going to write the queries the way that we do write. They do mostly make use of different standard advanced formats. Like sometimes they may use cursors, they may use some other things even with respect to extracting the data. And that's the reason when your data size increases, okay, uh, you start talking about big data when your data size increases. Now think of like let me ask you a question. Like if at all you are given a chance to design your own database system, how will you store the comments that are added on a Facebook or a Twitter page? What are the tweets and replies to each tweet or each Facebook comment? How this is organized? Can you can you think of how how that design can be done? Definitely Facebook and Twitter is making use of similar kind of some kind of NoSQL definitely on their own with respect to storing that data and showing you before 10 years this was your memory, and those comments are also still available there if you go to that particular memory. Now how exactly that data is stored there? Okay, think of it even. Let us move further and let us talk about another plans. So let me right now select count star from customer where app name like okay. Now here I write F. Okay, so A. Yeah. Now if you see when I wrote this fname like, okay, and dislike. So let me write this percent. How many are there? 4. How many are there? 6. Correct. So it is here matching this thing. Correct. So if I don't want to consider this case matching, so right here simply I like. That means what? In one of the record which is starting with A or which is containing capital A, small a is also included. That's why it is counted as 1 together in both the cases. That's why this is 6 plus 3 9. So actually it is 3 in that situation. 6 plus 3 is 9. This I is like if you are overriding or if you want to skip the case, then this I is to be used. Okay, our role is to really see this count star. So if I write here explain, you can see that there's an aggregate. Okay, so let us remove this because we added a condition. That's why this filter was shown to you. Correct. Okay, aggregate. This is an aggregate rather plan operator. Okay. Now if I say, okay, select name comma lm from customer. Yeah, so let us see this. Okay. Group by lm. Now you see that if I group last name, what are the data that is available there? So there are 3 Matthews, 4 Stones. So if you count this 4 plus 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So yes, 15 records are there. Correct. Now if I write here explain. Now it is not showing me aggregate. It is showing me hash aggregate because you are using something extra here. Because you are grouping and it tells you group name is this. Fine. So if I say set enable hash act to off. Now it tells group aggregate. Now see how the plan operators are, how many different plan operators are, and how much load the database system is taking while addressing these different plans for you peoples. Like as a user, we don't care about while we write the query, but that query can matter much load on the system too sometimes depending upon whether the query is effective or not. You must have seen while we write the code, we get output. But industry requires you to write an optimized code. Industry doesn't require only output, correct? So at the initial stage, you do write a code which is giving you output. Then the person might ask you, can you optimize further? Can you optimize further? So you are talking about now it should take less amount of time to get executed to show you same kind of result. So there can be different kinds of aggregate. So if I even let us see if I can enable. So I cannot disable this. This is the only option that I can get. Hash aggregate and group aggregate. Correct. So this group aggregate cannot be disabled. So this would be only option that I would be getting. Fine. Understood? Okay. Now let us see how much is. So we already saw this limit and offset. Okay. Okay. So let us take this kind of query. Now let us see this, what exactly it is trying to tell us. More than one row returned by a subquery used in the expression. Where customer dot customer ID equal to info dot customer ID. Now I cannot write because this customer is not available with me. It is an inquiry because from doesn't contain that. Correct? From doesn't contain that data. So if I write select star from customer, so let us see how many records are. Sorry, I forgot equal to. So more than one row. Select star from order info customer ID 3. Okay. Okay. Now we wrote this query. We took app name there. We took customer ID from here, and then if I try to display now and explain plan, you may say why should we write this kind of query, but you don't know what it will require. Correct? So this is init plan to return you the first argument, and this was your first argument. And as you used customer ID equal to 3, this was your index customer ID equal to 3. That's why index can, and then it is giving you init plan, and this init plan is fired, returning you this $0 means output which is to be shown as a first argument. Correct. Now, okay, let me try another one. So instead, if I write here, customer ID, comma. Now it still shows me this, correct? Okay, let me remove this customer ID from here. It is because you are working with this. Okay, so as an outcome, it returns you this, which is to be used while displaying result of this along with the init plan that is used. So what is init plan? Okay, so one is this kind of init plan. There is some sub plan 2, like which we'll be talking about. Okay, so yeah, let us go here. So what is this init plan? Okay, now similarly, if I write select app name from customer where customer ID in, select customer ID from order info where customer ID equal to 3. So let us write explain. So in is used, so it is showing you this, correct? So let me pick this. Let me add it here. Sorry, so it is to be correct. If I try to write this way even, you do see it is making use of nested loop. So let me disable There's just in time compilation. You may see here it is showing us this additional information. Yeah, so you can get only nested loop here. Correct. So actually, whenever we are talking about a query like this, where you are writing select count star from item where and so on. So this is returning you that data, but exactly it may or may not be same. Correct. It depending upon how exactly you do write the query. So like whenever there is a sub plan or init plan, most of the times you do see such kind of stuff. This $0 would be used. Okay, they are for sub plan, sub queries that are there, because if you see, we are writing sub queries in a query. Correct. We are writing sub query in a query. But then which one would be picked as a subquery, which one will not be, correct? That is really important. So if you see what are the query that we wrote earlier, okay, this was this one. We even got that nested loop. So then we said, okay, let us go to this. We got this init plan. Then it is talking, it is saying that, okay, it looks a subquery included here in your table, in your query definition. Correct. That's why this init plan came into picture. Okay, try to write a query which would be giving you sub plan. What are the sub plan that I showed you? Fine. So work with it. Try to work with your table definitions and try to get all these plans except values, result values and function. You can skip, but at least rest query plans. Try to show me at least 2 to 3 plans if at all you can get for each query that you would be writing. Now, what my point is like how the query should be in your exercise. You take 4 tables among the tables that are available, 5-6 tables available in that p.sql file. You pick any 4 tables, you write query which would be resulting to some output. Try rewriting that query in a different form to get the same output. Do it for 2 to 3 times. So write 4 different queries giving you same output for a while and try to check what are their plans. What are the plans written or plan generated for each of the query and which looks to be an efficient one. Now, definitely we will not be in a position to say that this one is better or that one is better. The reason behind, as I showed you the video that I shared on WhatsApp, you must have seen what happens is like the processes that are running on the system may hamper that performance too. Okay, but at least I want you to really try it. So try it. Okay, next week try that one so that you would be getting an idea of how exactly this query plans work. Fine, so I'm adding that PPT as well. Okay, on Moodle. Okay, along with recording of today's session. Fine.